Peace and love, you beautiful wonders with a spiritual level of being. Nathan here from a spiritual level of being, and you have a spiritual level of being. And today I want to discuss why do Muslims pray 5 times a day. Well, this story actually comes from the Shadia Hadith, and it basically starts off with Gabriel performing heart surgery on Muhammad to purify his heart in order to ascend him to the multiple levels of heaven where he'll meet Adam, Enoch, Jesus, and Moses, and Abraham. Now, when he meets Adam, he's in a fit of laughter and sadness. He's joyous and laughing over those in heaven, and he's crying over those in hell. Muhammad also meets multiple gatekeepers of heaven. Now, he eventually meets Allah, who orders Muhammad and his followers to pray 50 times a day, where he later descends into the lower levels of heaven, meeting Moses again. Moses insisting to Muhammad that this is too many prayers and he should haggle with God. And he does this multiple times. Eventually, numbers drop down to 5 instead of 50. The moral of this story is you should be grateful you're praying 5 times a day as Muhammad haggled it. So who are you to question, basically, why you shouldn't pray 5 times a day? And basically, you're a bigot if you're not praying these times as Muhammad haggled it down for you. And you should be proud to give your time to God. But it's actually been tested in the study that these multiple prayers can even lead to OCD. Now, we're going to discuss this story from the Hadith. And I'm reading it from Sacred Text. I highly encourage this site. It's great. It has everything basically on there. And it's got awesome translations. So let's begin this text. So we're reading from the Shadia Hadith. Hadith 1.345. Narrated by Abu Dahar. This is from Sacred Text. Okay. Allah's Apostle said, "While I was at Mecca, the roof of my house was opened, and Gabriel descended, opened my chest, and washed it with Zamzam water," which is well water. "Then he brought a golden tray full of wisdom and faith, and having poured its contents into my chest, he closed it. Then he took my hand and ascended with me to the nearest heaven." So he purified his heart basically to take him to heaven, or purified his soul. "When I reached the nearest heaven, Gabriel said to the gatekeeper of heaven, 'Open the gate.' The gatekeeper asked, 'Who is it?' Gabriel answered, 'Gabriel.' He asked, 'Is there anyone with you?' Gabriel replied, 'Yes, Muhammad, I is with me.'" I think that's a mistranslation on this behalf. I think it's just meant to say, "Yes, Muhammad is with me." He asked, "Has he been called?" Gabriel said yes. So the gatekeeper was opened and we went, well, I think it's meant to say here, so the gatekeeper opened. We went over the nearest heaven, and there we saw a man sitting with some people on his right and some on his left. When he looked towards his right, he laughed, and when he looked towards his left, he wept. Then he said, "Welcome, O pious prophet and pious son." I asked Gabriel, "Who is he?" He replied, "He is Adam, and the people on his right and the left are the souls of his offspring. Those on his right are the people of paradise, and those on his left are the people of hell. And when he looks towards his right, he laughs, and when he looks towards his left, he weeps." Then he ascended with me, till he reached the second heaven, and he, Gabriel, said to its gatekeeper, "Open the gate." The gatekeeper said to him, the same as the gatekeeper of the first heaven had said, and he opened the gate. Anas said, Abu Dahar added that the Prophet met Adam, Idris, which is Enoch, Moses, Jesus, and Abraham. He, Abu Dahar, did not mention on which heaven they were, but he mentioned that he, the Prophet, met Adam on the nearest heaven and Abraham on the 6th heaven. Anas said, when Gabriel along with the Prophet passed by Idris, the latter said, "Welcome, O pious Prophet and pious brother." The Prophet asked, "Who is he?" Gabriel replied, "He is Idris." The prophet added, I passed by Moses, and he said, Welcome, O pious prophet and pious brother. I asked Gabriel, Who is he? Gabriel replied, He is Moses. Then I passed by Jesus, and he said, Welcome, O pious brother and pious prophet. I asked, Who is he? Gabriel replied, He is Jesus. Then I passed by Abraham, and he said, Welcome, O pious prophet and pious son. I asked Gabriel, Who is he? Gabriel replied, He is Abraham. The prophet added, Then Gabriel ascended with me to a place where I heard the creaking of the pens. Ibn Hazm and Anas bin Malik said, The prophet said, Then Allah enjoined 50 prayers on my followers. When I returned with his order of Allah, I passed by Moses, who asked me, What has Allah enjoined on your followers? I replied, He has enjoined 50 prayers on them. Moses said, Go back to your Lord and appeal for reduction, for your followers will not be able to bear it. So I went back to Allah and requested for reduction, and he reducted it to half. When I passed by Moses again and informed him about it, he said, Go back to your Lord, as your followers will not be able to bear it. So I returned to Allah and requested for further reduction, and half of it was reduced. I again passed by Moses, and he said to me, Return to your Lord, for your followers will not be able to bear it. So I returned to Allah, and he said, These are 5 prayers, and they are all equal to 50 in reward, for my word does not change. I returned to Moses, and he told me to go back once again. I replied, Now I feel shy of asking my Lord again. Then Gabriel took me till we reached Shadrat-il-Munhata, lot tree of the utmost boundary, which was shrouded in colours indescribable. Then I was admitted into paradise, where I found small tents or walls made of pearls, and its earth was of musk. So this is basically the story of why Muslims pray 5 times a day. So peace and love, everyone. I love you all. Connect to one mind and soul. Namaste.